Welcome to the Wrestle Fam Talk Show. I'm Ron.
I'm Ashley.
We're going to do the Triplemania review. This is the first time I watched AAA, I would say, in a decade. Last time I watched, I believe Dr. Wagner Jr. was one of the top wrestlers at that time. And prior to that, I would watch it as a kid whenever it would pop on one of the few Mexican channels that we had. I remember Conan, the Latin Lover. Don't really know if it was AAA or CMLL. I'm sure it was both. I just remember a lot of action, a lot of words I didn't understand, and the matches I didn't really understand either. And I'll be honest with you, watching it yesterday, I'm still as lost as ever. But it was a great show for what it was. You asked me, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And I told you with AAA, it seems throw the realness out the window. Throw any type of structure, any type of rules. You just watch for the action.
Which was a lot.
Yeah, I always try to guess who's on a team, and I never get it right. I just don't ever know who's with who. Although last night I made sure I watched the entrances, I paid attention to the names, and then I kind of saw who was on whose team and who was kind of associated with each other. So the first matchup seemed to be Marvel characters. Not really sure why. Maybe they're doing a promotion type thing. It was pretty cool. I play with the kids on WWE 2K19, and we always download. We never download wrestlers, although just recently we downloaded some AEW wrestlers. It's usually SpongeBob, Freddy Fazbear, Mario, and Marvel characters. So right away I see this, and I call Bryce and Ryder in, and I go, "There's Captain America." Spider-Man comes winding down on this rope, almost like Shawn Michaels did at WrestleMania 12. He's upside down, coming down the area. There's a couple of women in there. Now, I could tell there was Captain America. I could tell there was Spider-Man. I thought the woman on the good guy side was Captain Marvel, and I'm looking it up, and I was correct on that. On the bad guy side, all I knew was there was Venom. I had no clue who the other two are, and it looks like it was Thanos and Black Widow. But if you would have betted me $100 to guess who those were, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. So the match is going along. Captain America came out on a motorcycle, like I said. They had just these cool entrances. So the match going along, just regular lucha libre style match. They're fighting. All of a sudden, there's a wall, and this guy dressed as the Hawk breaks through. And here comes the Hawk. That was pretty cool. So the Hawks having a standoff with the Thanos guy, and then they Spider-Man and Captain America double team. I'm guessing that would have been Venom, and finish off the match. I thought it was cool. I told the kids, come see the characters that we always download on the game. Here they are in real life.
Well, they probably did it for the kids.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I didn't know if there was any rhyme or reason for it. Right off the bat, great start. The second match, we're sitting there. Two wrestlers come in, and I was mistaken. One of them was Ms. Taziz. Probably not saying these names right. I recognized him, and I go, wow, I think that's the original Sin Cara. Again, incorrect. There's one thing about Lucha Libre and the wrestling down in Mexico with the characters is they will keep the same characters, the same mask in it, but they will change out the individuals in there. In fact, in CMLL and in AAA, it seems they have both characters that the guy that was known as Sin Cara in the WWE, the original one, he played both of those parts, but neither one of them right now are him. He actually has a different name. So I was way off, but I recognized the mask. You asked me, you said, oh, looks like a lot of them have masks. And I said, yeah, in Mexican wrestling, Lucha Libre, the mask is the persona. Here in America, WWE, and that, if you're a policeman or you're firefighter, or back in the day, Duke, the dumpster drosy, or the garbage man. Over there, it's the mask style. So there's as many mask wrestlers as there are non-mask wrestlers here in America, and it's almost like the individuals that don't have a mask are the ones that stand out. I don't know much about lucha libre, but that's one thing I do know. So a lot of cool masks. So I thought it was a singles match. There was the guy I thought that was the original Sin Cara, and then there was another wrestler. And then all of a sudden, a clock started counting down. I go, oh, this might be a Royal Rumble. And it kind of was. It was every 45 seconds or 40 seconds, a new wrestler came out. There were some wrestlers that had military pants. It looked like there was 3 of them. I guess that they were a team, and I guessed right. Later on, it was confirmed that they were a team. There was Hamburguesa, was a larger fellow, and he was not that athletic, but the crowd seemed to like him. He was trying to perform these moves, and it looked like I was in the ring trying to perform those moves. The drop kick, barely got air, which would be me. His leg moving up. My high kick is to your shin. I'm on a good day is how high my leg can get, and the same with this guy. But he was doing his thing in the ring. Mr. Iguana popped out, and I go, look at that guy. Just this skinny, small dude. I guess
a regular Joe.
Yeah, just a regular Joe looking guy. Comes in, carrying an iguana, and he starts teaming up with Hamburguesa, if I'm even saying that word right. And they're doing their thing. He helps Hamburguesa up to the top rope and helps him do moves. And at no time did I think, hey, these two have a chance to win. I go, they're going to get eliminated. Villano 3 Jr. comes out, a name I recognize. The first part, not the junior. I go, oh, one of the Villanos, his sons, not 1 or 2, but 3. I remember all of them from late in the WCW when they had all the luchadors. So I remember the Villanos. So I seen a name I recognized. There's a wrestler named Tito Santana. And I had to look because I thought maybe I heard the name wrong. And then I thought I heard it right. And then I'm looking and I'm like, is that the 60-something-year-old Tito Santana coming down the ring? It was not. Not really understanding why you would name yourself Tito Santana. After there was a famous wrestler named Tito Santana, it would be like somebody choosing Hulk Hogan as a name right now. Or Stone Cold Steve Austin. And you come out and you're like, no, not that Steve Austin. This is a new one. You have all the names in the world to choose. And you choose Tito Santana. Yeah. If that's your real name, great. But again, with the story of Stone Cold, I mentioned him just then, he had to change his real name. He started wrestling. He was Steve Williams. And they told him, there's already a Steve Williams, and that's Dr. Death. So they just chose a random city in Texas, which was Austin. And that's how he became Steve Austin. So nobody did this to Tito Santana. No one told him, hey, there's a Tito Santana. He's already had a great career. So let's see if he lives up to the name. So he's in there. I believe he was one of the people in the military pants. Well, anyways, the match keeps going on. And guess who wins? Mr. Iguana. Out of nowhere. I got excited. I go, wow. Mr. Iguana won. And he's all happy and he gets this big trophy and he's posing. And all of a sudden, 3 of the coolest wrestlers I've ever seen in my life come out. They got this dark, white, kind of like a bronze or gold trim mask. They're dressed in suits. They come in and they destroy Mr. Iguana. And I'm looking at him because I love that type of look. I'm looking at the mask. I'm looking at the cool designs. They grab my attention. Never seen these wrestlers in my life. And it seems like a big deal. From just hearing the announcers pick up, you can tell their excitement. The crowd's up. They're laying it in on Mr. Iguana. Some of the competitors from the Royal Rumble, if you want to call it that, come back in to try to save Mr. Iguana. They dispose of them with cool moves. They do this triple kick in the corner. They kind of ran back, stopped real quick, and then came back together. They were slick. They looked cool. Their moves were cool. Then the three wrestlers that had the military pants come into the ring. They have a stare down. They start fighting. Then all of a sudden, a guy without a mask, I believe they called him Sam Adonis. I had recognized that name from a few years ago. I believe he's Corey Graves' brother. Corey Graves is the announcer, former NXT guy in the WWE, and a couple of guys dressed in blue. They come in, they help the cool guys in mask and suit, beat down the military pant wearing wrestlers. And then they start just taking pictures, posing. They got the guys beat up. They grab the guy that's knocked out and just like posing with them, like, look at this. It almost reminded me of like Weekend at Bernie's, the movie where they have the dead guy and they pretend he's alive and go on. I mean, they're just posing with these bodies and look at us and being all cool. We'll come to find out they are the NGD, the Nueva Generación Dinamita. So I'm guessing the new generation of dynamite. I guess that's what it is. We have El Contrario, Sanson, and Forastero. Now, I looked it up. The first two names are brothers. They are the sons of Sin Casa, which I think means 100 faces. And he was a great wrestler in the early days of the AAA. And the other one is Sin Casa's nephew, so his brother's son. And I believe they had a group that was probably close to this name here. And now they are the new generation of it. Looked it up again. They just came from CMLL. So that's why it was a big deal. Is I guess just a few days ago, I typed in their name and it said they left CMLL 4 days ago. So it would be kind of like a big group from the WWE or from AEW showing up at either one's big, like WrestleMania, showing up at WrestleMania and debuting, that type of big deal. So I was like, no wonder. But they looked awesome. They're my favorites. I'm going to start watching AAA just because of them. So after that match, we have a women's match. On here, on my screen, I'm looking at the results and everything. It was champion versus champion. I'm going to be honest. Did not pay attention to this match. I rewatched it on YouTube about an hour ago. Skimmed through it. Because I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was like a four-way match or something like that. Because all of a sudden there was like four women in the ring. Well, I watched it. I guess it was a one-on-one match. And then they just let anything go. Like you can come in anytime you want to and do whatever move you want. So they're doing moves and these other girls get in there and they're doing the moves. And then even the ref does this sequence of moves with one of the wrestlers. And I'm going, I guess it doesn't surprise me. You just expect whatever. So anyways, Diana Purrazzo, who is the Impact Women's Champion or Knockouts Champion, has now won a AAA Women's Championship. It was a weird match. No DQ, it seemed. And referee was on her side, it seems, as well. So I don't know. It's a confusing match. I wasn't really paying attention at that point because I'll be honest, I only decided to watch this because I found out the Lucha Brothers were on there. And I found out, well, I knew about Kenny Omega and Andrade. So I was going to watch it for Kenny Omega and Andrade. I found out Lucha Brothers were on there. I was like, oh, wow. So up next is for the World Tag Team Championship of AAA. And it was the Lucha Brothers. Didn't realize they are the champions of AAA. They come out. The Laredo Kid, who I've seen before, I think he's been in some AEW matches or wrestles with the guys that are in AEW a lot. And then another one, Hio del Vikingo. I believe that's the son of the Viking. He looked pretty cool, and he has some cool moves. So I like that team of Laredo Kid and the son of Viking. And then there was Taurus, and then I noticed Brian Cage. So I was like, oh, another guy I know. But they do something weird before the match. So they're supposed to hate each other. Then they just line up for pictures, like beside each other. But Pentagon, he lines up next to his enemies, and then after the picture, then he starts to push them. But just imagine you're about to fight someone in a cage, or maybe UFC, and then there's Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier right before the fight. They're just, hey, let's just pose for a picture real close to each other right before we start punching each other in the face. Well, they do that though, but not in the cage. They do that for the show prior to it, but this was literally in the ring. They stretched the belts out and having a good old time, like they were at like a family picnic or something. And then it's like, all right, now we're gonna fight each other. So thought that was kind of weird, but hey, who am I to judge? I'm just watching, learning their culture. Well, long story short, after a bunch of moves, crazy moves, Lucha Brothers win this one. I'm not calling the action like I've been doing on AEW and that, because it is a lot of action. If you just want to see moves that have no storytelling in the match itself, it's just moves, this is the show for you. And that match was pretty good. It keeps you watching, that's for sure. Then La Impresa. So that was the name of Sam Adonis and the Blue guys. They come out and they're wrestling guys. The Pagano, Chessman, and Murder Clown. They kind of look like clowns. They wrestled them. It was weird. Sam Adonis kept going over to this woman at ringside and talking to her, and then the clowns looked like they got jealous and pushed them and got in between. Then there was two of them that were fighting amongst themselves, of the clowns. It is what it was, and La Impresa wins it. So now, the AAA Championship. Kenny Omega versus Andrade. So Omega comes out, and he has Conan with him. Prior to the match, it looked like Conan visited both locker rooms, and I didn't understand what he said to Andrade, but he talked to Omega in English and says, if you want to win, I got a plan. And Omega looks around and says, come on in. So obviously the plan is to have Conan come out. I thought the plan was going to be a lot more in depth than what it ended up being. It shouldn't have been, hey, I got a plan if you want to win. It should be, hey, let me walk out with you, because that was the plan. I mean, it's the same thing. That's what it ended up being. I waited for this elaborate plan of Conan, and he just stood there. It was a regular manager. Andrade comes out, and he looked cool. I thought the guys with the mask and the suit looked cool. Well, Andrade comes out with a mask and a suit, and I'm thinking of going and getting a suit and wearing a mask and walking around the home area here, because that's how much I like that look. And then all of a sudden, Ric Flair's music hits. And here comes Ric Flair, his future father-in-law, or maybe he's married to Charlotte now. I don't know. Andrade's married to Charlotte, or engaged, or boyfriend. I don't know. I'm not good on keeping up with relationships. But anyways, they're together, let's just say. So there's Ric Flair. He comes out with Andrade. And I'm watching the steps because they're having a hard time walking down the steps. I'm hoping no one trips. And that's just not Ric Flair. It was Andrade, all the wrestlers. The steps were kind of scary. Anyway, so they get into the ring. There's the face-off. And then Omega and Andrade have a great match. He goes out to the ring, outside the ring, into the crowd a little bit. Kenny Omega taunts Ric Flair. They kind of have a face-to-face. Match keeps going on. Hitting their big moves. And then they do a referee knockdown. Conan comes into the ring. Ric Flair comes into the ring. Ric Flair stops Omega from hitting Andrade with the belt. He starts chopping Omega, and they're doing the chops. And then Conan comes in, and Ric Flair chops Conan, and then him and Andrade lock in figure fours on each of them. Then they get out of the ring, and the match continues, and somehow Conan slides the belt in, and Kenny Omega hits Andrade with the belt, then the one-winged angel onto the belt, and he wins. I thought Omega was going to lose, but he didn't. He pulls it out. He beats Andrade. Totally redeems himself from his loss versus Christian. We'll see where this goes with AAA. We'll see if this carries over to AEW. But it was a pretty good match. The main event I did not stay up to watch, but I did watch today on YouTube because I figured if I do this review, let's talk about it. Talk about a confusing match. So you have the Psycho Clown. He comes out. He's got this tongue sticking out of his mask. He has a lady with him. They talk about Super Porky. I believe Super Porky was his father who passed away this year. I believe he was a legendary wrestler in Mexico. So they do this little tribute thing. His opponent's in the ring, Rey Scorpion. And he has a woman. I think there's Taurus, from the partner with Brian Cage from earlier, and some other guy. And they have this match, and I'm skimming through it. It's a bloody match. They tore Psycho Clown's mask a little bit because it's a mask versus hair match, where whoever loses, you either lose your mask or you lose your hair. They have the match. They go through it, and then all of a sudden, the helpers for Rey Scorpion just start beating the Psycho Clown up. They're beating him, and then I'm thinking, all right, well, I saw a bunch of clowns earlier. Where are they? I guess come to find out they are not friendly with the Psycho Clown. So remember how I talked about I'm going to guess who's partners and friends? Key element when you're watching Lucha Libre, if they look alike or similar, they're probably enemies. I don't know. But I was wrong on that as well. No one comes out to help this guy. So he has this woman with him. The whole time I'm thinking it's his wife. So imagine watching this thing and that woman is his wife, because the other three, they come in, they do the moves, and then Psycho Clown takes them out one by one. But he doesn't do like a devastating move to them. He just like knocks them over the rope or does a move, and then the one woman just slides out of the ring. And then it's almost like they just stand there like, well, we tried. We can't get back in the ring. Yeah, we get one attempt. It's almost like you're playing a video game, and it's like, all right, you used your one interference or something like that. So then the woman who I thought was his wife gets into the ring and has a hammer. Is going to hand it to the Psycho Clown. I think she hands it to him, or they hold hands, and he kisses her. And then she kicks him in between the legs, or hits him in between the legs, turns on him. And then the guy hits him with a move, and he kicks out of it. And then somehow the Psycho Clown wins the match. Because after you do a move to the Psycho Clown, if you're not a part of the match, you can no longer try. You get one attempt on the Psycho Clown, from what I saw. And if he knocks you out of the ring, you're like, oh, shucks. Darn it. Maybe next time. But not today. So Rey Scorpion loses the match. The woman that I thought was his wife ends up, I looked it up, being his sister. Now, whether they portray her as his sister in the ring, I don't know. I don't know if it's tradition to kiss your sister on the mouth, but they did. If you do that, if that's part of your family tradition, go right ahead. But that's why at first I thought it was his wife, and then that kind of reconfirmed to me that was his wife, but I was wrong, of course. So don't try to guess when you're watching this wrestling. Then they all just stand out there, and then they get in the ring. And I thought, oh, they're going to beat Psycho Clown down. They don't. They just stand there. The woman that I thought was his wife's on the outside just mad. Then some other guy brings his two children, the Psycho Clown's children, into the ring, and they're happy. That was a cool spot. And they're hugging him. And then Rey Scorpion gets the microphone, and he talks. And talks. Talks some more. I fast forward. I hit play. Guess who's talking? Rey Scorpion. I don't know what he's saying, of course. But what is there to say? You lost the match. Then Psycho Clown talks. And they're talking to each other, and they shake hands, and then I thought it was done with. And then they start cutting Rey Scorpion's hair. And guess what he starts doing? Talking. Talking as the ref shaves his head. What is there to say? Then it looks like they're friends. So I get on YouTube and I type in Psycho Clown because I'm interested. I'm like, okay, how's this guy the main event? It looks like he took Dr. Wagner Jr.'s mask from Triplemania in like 2017. He's main evented multiple Triplemanias. He seems like a big deal. I don't know. And then I saw a video where I think it was Rey Scorpion and somebody else just beat up him and that woman that turned on him. So I thought they were beating him and his wife. So what is there to talk about? And then you're friends with each other? He just tried to take your mask. And I would love to know what Rey Scorpion, I mean, he was given a speech. I don't know what he was saying, but I don't know what you could say. Like, what else are you saying? Plus, prior to the match, he attacks Psycho Clown. And there was a picture of Psycho Clown's dad, Super Porky. He smashes it over Psycho Clown's head. What are you doing shaking hands? A burglar breaks into your house, beats you up, and steals your things, and then do you bid him a nice goodbye and we'll see you later? Yeah, well, I know I did. Like I said, if you try to make sense of it, it's not going to make sense. But it was a great show. Outside of the ring action, very confusing. But you know what? I could probably say the same thing if someone was watching from a different country, watching WWE or watching AEW. They're probably as confused as I am watching that. But it was a great show. I'm not going to lie. A great wrestling show. It was exciting, and I enjoyed it. It's a lot better than a lot of the other wrestling shows that have been on TV of late. So I give it a double thumbs up if we do a little rating of thumbs up. So it was a great show. I know I talked a lot, Ashley. You have anything to add? You kind of were in and out of the show.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. I actually enjoyed some of the matches. It was confusing to me for me first time watching it, but I thought it was pretty good, especially the moves. That was pretty awesome, seeing all those people do all those kind of cool moves.
Yeah, so I'm looking these wrestlers up. I'm trying to find some background so it can help me understand what's going on. Maybe I'm so out of it that I don't understand it as much, and maybe if I dig a little deep, more info, maybe a lot of things will make sense. But I try to put the wrestling tense into real life situations or you just tried to hurt me, so I'm literally not going to shake your hand. Disrespected my dead father. So yeah, we're not hugging, and I don't care about your 30-minute speech.
Exactly.
So, well, that was our review. I hope you liked it. I hope you listen again, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.